Welcome to Houston, Texas with Yanni Caracas. I'm Phil Orban. Yanni, I don't think either of us thought at the beginning of the year we would be here at Reliance Stadium at the Final Four.
Or even just a few weeks ago. Remember, VCU was one of the last 4 teams into this tournament, and now, conveniently enough, they're one of the last 4 remaining.
Yanni Caracas was there all night. I'm guessing his ears are still ringing. He's live at the Siegel Center, and he has more. Yanni?
Phil, after this game, the message was clear from the VCU Rams. After losing pretty handily last year at the Robins Center, it was VCU turning the tables and winning by double digits this year.
8 Sports Director Phil Orban is at the track with a recap. Phil.
Hey, thanks so much, Yanni. Yeah, you have a pretty good recipe right there. Take 14 drivers, give them 3 chase spots, give them 400 laps to figure out who's going to make the postseason, and I can promise you, you're going to get a good race. That's exactly what we got in tonight's Wonderful Pistachios 400.
8 Sports anchor Yanni Caracas arrived in Atlanta early this morning. He has more.
Well, after a month of hoopla, the Chick-fil-A Bowl is finally here. Auburn and Virginia will kick it off tomorrow night at 8 p.m. here at the Georgia Dome.
Phil, the way VCU had been playing the last 3 weeks, it seemed like the Cinderella run just would never end.
Yeah, but it did last night in Houston. Shots that had gone in earlier in the tournament just spilled out, and it ended with a 70-62 loss to Butler.
The Washington Redskins just got done finishing off a 16-7 win over the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, don't read too much into this. It's just a preseason game, but still, the Redskins are off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, we're here live with Chesterfield's Denny Hamlin. Denny, thanks for joining us. Currently 12th in points. How do you approach this race, clinging to that last wildcard spot?
Welcome to San Antonio with Yanni Caracas. I'm Phil Orban. Yanni, the Big East, the #1 rated conference in the country. It's got 16 teams, 11 made the NCAA tournament, but only 2 surviving in the Sweet 16.
Meanwhile, the city of Richmond has 2 Division I teams. Both of them made the NCAA tournament, and they have a combined 5 wins between them.
Richmond just the 3rd city ever to accomplish that.
Hey, Kerry, the only thing hotter right now than the Richmond Flying Squirrels is the weather here in Central Virginia. As you mentioned, they've won 4 straight.
The play of Verina product Andre Branch. Phil Orban has more from Charlotte.
The Virginia Tech Hokies may have come up short in their bid to reach the Orange Bowl, but that doesn't mean the Central Region is coming up empty-handed. Redshirt senior defensive end Andre Branch, another dominant performance against the Hokies, helping the Clemson Tigers punch their ticket to Miami.
Welcome back to our 8 Sports Extra, joined now by head coach Mike London on the eve of the Chick-fil-A Bowl. And coach, a bowl preparation is so different because you have a month of answering the same questions from the media, watching game tape with the same team, practicing with the same guys. What has the last month been like for you?
Well, it's something that we hadn't been used to in a while, but something definitely we plan on getting used to.
First, talk about Sunday night. What's going through your mind when you see your team pop up on the screen?
Well, just really, really happy for our guys and for everyone in our program that we'll get the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament.
Another 10-win season for the Virginia Tech Hokies. That's 8 straight for head coach Frank Beamer. Tech taking care of business against UNC with a 24-21 win last night. 8 Sports anchor Yanni Caracas was in Blacksburg and has more.
Despite winning by just 3 points, this game was never in doubt in Blacksburg Thursday night as the Hokies win 24-21 over UNC and put themselves in prime position to return to the ACC title game.
Here's your old stomping grounds, Deep Run High School. You got the Sugar Bowl coming up. Exciting time for you, but the first thing I got to ask, is about that mohawk. You got the blonde mohawk on. Where'd that come from?
They visited with the president yesterday. Yanni Caracas has that story.
With just 5 days between races, appearances for these NASCAR drivers are at a premium this week, but when President Obama calls, you have to make the visit.
I had this great idea where I'd come out to the ballpark during a Flying Squirrels game, do some odd jobs, and show you how things work behind the scenes here at the Diamond. I figured I'd get here maybe 10 minutes before first pitch, sell some tickets, pass out some programs, eat a couple hot dogs, maybe even call an inning or 2 on the radio. Instead, it's 2:15, and I have to go help the grounds crew set up batting practice.
When NASCAR created this new format with the 2 wildcard spots into the chase, RAR was the beneficiary. A whole season's worth of racing comes down to RAR this Saturday night.
This wasn't the way the Virginia Tech season was supposed to end. Their 11-game winning streak snapped in a 40-12 loss to Stanford, a difficult one to swallow for the seniors on this team.
Well, the talk around Congressional today is just how wide open this U.S. Open field is, with Tiger Woods not playing and no golfer solidifying themselves as the game's best. Really, this is anyone's tournament.
And next year, I will be attending the Ohio State University.
Good fun at Colonial Downs today. How about the mascot race? VCU's Rodney the Ram, the Hokie Bird, Nutsy from the Squirrels, all ready to go, and they are off. Check out Kickaroo from the Richmond Kickers. blowing out the pack. LeBronco James takes a nosedive on the track. It's Kickaroo taking the mascot bragging rights in a photo finish.
The Richmond football program has turned the page quickly following the resignation of head coach Latrell Scott.
As a high school athlete, the ultimate goal is winning a state championship. Doing so while going undefeated is almost unheard of, but that's the opportunity the Goochland football team had today, taking on Gretna in the Division II state championship.
But Flying Squirrels also have to deal with the next big thing in professional baseball. Harrisburg Senator outfielder Bryce Harper. Harper, the top overall pick in last year's draft, has been called the hottest prospect since Alex Rodriguez.
Get a rematch in this year's national championship game.
You may remember they played earlier this year with LSU winning in overtime, so we asked you on Facebook what you thought of the matchup. Here is what some of you had to say.
RAR Racing trying to regain any sense of normalcy after a harrowing experience.
We grabbed the kids, we huddled up. It sounded like a freight train came through the house, maybe 10 seconds. And at that point, it got still again, and then started raining. And we stayed down there, 3 more hours.
Huddled in their basement, McClure, his wife, and 3 young children survived the tornadoes. Some neighbors in nearby Glade Spring weren't as fortunate, where 4 deaths have already been confirmed.
The community of Glade Spring was the closest one to us that really had total loss. And we're thinking about those guys, trying to figure out how we can help them when we get back.
After talking it over with his family, the driver of the number 14 car decided it would be best to race tonight, and McClure says he's received an outpouring of support from the NASCAR community.
A relatively anonymous guy. All the well wishes, we got the text message, the emails, the Facebooks, the tweets, everything, just people that may or may not have known I was alive.
And as you can imagine, the experience has really put racing in perspective.
I can promise you after this week, I'm not worried about what's happening here at the racetrack. We're just going to have a little bit of fun.
And he'll try to have some fun tonight at the nationwide race. Afterwards, he'll drive back 5.5 hours to Abington. He'll assess the damage done to his home and rally around his community that was devastated by the tornadoes. Live at RAR, I'm Yanni Karakis. Phil Orbit has more from the track coming up later on in sports.
Grimes, end zone, touchdown.
You're probably used to seeing Jonathan Grimes dashing into the end zone for the Tribe football team, but the same grace, skill, and improvisation he uses on the gridiron, he transfers to a skill set entirely different, playing the piano, something the all-conference running back is pretty good at.
Once I realized that people liked what I was doing and I could impress people with it, I really started liking it. Just like football, I want to be the best, try and be the best piano player I can be.
Grimes started taking lessons at the age of 7 after his dad gave him an ultimatum: no football for another year unless he learned piano.
He was going to hold me out another year, but he said if he let me play that year that I wanted to play, I would have to promise and play the piano. So I said, that's fine, I just want to play.
14 years later, and that deal worked out pretty good for Grimes, who will graduate from William & Mary with a music degree and with one of the most decorated careers in CAA football history. Grimes says the success in both fields comes similarly.
You get a good rhythm on the field, you just keep going, nothing's going to stop you. You feel like you can do whatever you want. And when you get in a good groove on the piano, you feel like you can do whatever. Is limitless what you can play on the piano. Recognize that one?
And when Grimes leaves Williamsburg next spring, he knows he'll have options. Football and music await in a future full of opportunity. Yanni Karakis, 8 Sports.
Welcome to the 8 Sports Blitz. As always with Yanni Karakis, I'm Phil Orban. Our game of the week, Yanni, decided by fan voting.
That's right. The people have spoken. In a landslide, they picked a Class A showdown between Amelia and Goochland, right to a wild second half. Goochland pitching a Justin Verlander shutout, up 5-0. Amelia's A.J. Royal is picked off by Mason Engel. That led to a Bulldogs field goal. 8-0 Goochland. Fourth quarter, Amelia is rallying. Royal will run it in from 5 yards out. That cuts the lead to 8-6. So the Raiders need to go for 2 to tie this ball game up, and Royal will be looking for Quinton Height, but this pass is broken up. Amelia loses out on a chance to tie the game, but they have the ball back now. 25 seconds. Royal to Tracy Nixon, and he's got some room, but he is stripped by the football from Jake Martin. Heads up play. Goochland survives 8-6, locking up the James River District.
Great game there. On to the Battle of Chester, Chapter 2. Thomas Dale looking for some revenge on LC Bird. First quarter, no score. Knights working the tip drill. Quentin Taylor's pass deflected Kevin Skullark in the right place at the right time. Nice gain for Dale, but that drive would stall. Skyhawks with it now. The handoff to the best tailback in the region, Yaki Johnson. He'll pick up a chunk of yards, but that drive would stall. Second quarter, Bird breaks through. Aaron Fuller play fake to Johnson. Then he'll throw it back that way. Yaki Johnson with some room. And check out this great block from Lionel Williams. That'll spring him for the 34-yard touchdown. Bird on top, 7-0. Ensuing Dale drive, punting from their end zone, blocked by Rashid Warsham. Coming off the edge, that's a safety. LC Bird goes on to win 15-7.
Let's head over to Dinwiddie. The Generals welcoming in Hopewell. Scoreless second quarter. Hopewell pinned back. It's a bad snap. Quinta Golson tries to recover it, but DeAndre Scott's there for the safety. 2-0 Generals. Still in the second. Generals on offense. Brian Finney to Drakkar Harvell. Check out Harvell dancing free of defenders. Same drive. Finney will roll out, and he'll find his man. It is Harvell on the touchdown. Dinwiddie rolls 28-0 is your final.
Now our rivalry game of the week, a Capital District showdown between Varina and Hanover, Yanni.
That's right. The Hawks looking for back-to-back district titles.
Out to Hanover we go. This is the third play of the game. Blue Devils quarterback Maurice Canada looks like he's bottled up behind the line, but he'll escape, and he is gone in a hurry. All kinds of speed from Canada. 50 yards for the score. 7-0 Varina. Hanover answers with a field goal, but Varina comes right back. It's Canada again. He had a day. This is a 36-yard touchdown run. That gives the Devils a 14-3 lead. Late first quarter, all the attention, rightly so, on that quarterback. That allows Tony Tate on the end around, and check out the cavalcade of blockers out in front, escorting Tate to the end zone, 58-yard run.
Tony Tate.
That's a football name. 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter now, Canada just doing everything. He'll pick off the Andrew Gisner pass and take it to the house. 70 yards for the score. Varina rolls 42-3.
That is a big, big win by a big, big score. Over to TJ where the Vikings hosted Hermitage afternoon action. First quarter, the Panthers hand it off to Darian Henley, and Henley will travel 34 yards to the end zone. Big Herm takes the early 6-0 lead. Still in the first. This time it's the workhorse. Derek Green on the carry, 8 yards on that TD. That makes it 13-0 Panthers. More from Green. Second quarter, he'll find some room for his second TD of the game. Hermitage remains undefeated, 51-0.
You like this. Armstrong taking on Lee Davis. First quarter, no score. Malcolm Cook rolling right, looking downfield. He'll throw it up, way up. But watch the play on the ball from Tyrell Eaton. One-handed snag in the end zone. We had to slow it down for you. Confederates take over. Wildcats will try again. Cook rolling out again, looking downfield again. Watch this one deflect off a pair of defenders right into the arms of Kayvon Cooley. He'll take it the rest of the way, 56 yards for the score. Armstrong on top, 6-0, but Lee Davis just too tough in this one. This is Eaton on the carry. You already saw his hands. Check out the toughness, just wheeling his way into the end zone from 10 yards out. Lee Davis wins it, 69-6.
That's some good video. The Drums beating at Midlow tonight. Trojans and Chiefs. First quarter, Monicans. Corey Ambers on the 3-yard touchdown. That makes it 7-0 Chiefs. More from Monacan. Mitchell Errol will bring in the screen pass, and from there he is off to the races. 56 yards to the house. Just like that, 14-0 Chiefs. After a big punt return, Midlow finally gets things moving. Taylor Stout on the carry. He goes untouched for 6. What a ball game, Phil. Midlow would rally for a 35-34 double OT win.
Did you like those catches in the last game, Yanni? Check this out. Highland springs it Atlee. DJ Johnson to Willie Stubblefield. Watch him go up and over the Atlee defender. My goodness, that set up a 1st and 10 inside the 20. But the Atlee defense would stand tall. 4th down, Johnson throwing for the first, but it's incomplete. Atlee will take over. Ensuing drive, Ruben Rucker will set up a little wide receiver screen to Will McCombs. Great play call, coach. Check that out. He has all kinds of running room, and he will do the Raider Rumble, 64 yards to the paint. Atlee goes up 7-0. They would win 23-15.